to begin the discussion, we would like to know from you, what is the journey been like the past 10 years for LPAI, and what is the vision and mission of the organization?
The Land Port Authority of India was formed in March 2010 as per the Land Port Authority Act of India. This comes under the Department of Border Management and Ministry of Home Affairs. The assignment that was given to us was to ensure that we should have sufficient land ports which can facilitate the trade across all the land borders of India. We have, as you know, almost 15,000 kilometers of land border, starting from our border with Pakistan, Afghanistan, China, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh and Myanmar. Last 10 years have been really hectic in terms of the journey, but we are happy as an organization that we have attained the critical mass in last 10 years. The vision of LPAI is to increase and promote trade to generate enough employment for the local areas, because border areas are mostly not having any infrastructure in terms of roads, industries, schools, hospitals and proper basis for livelihood. Third one is to boost investment and opportunities for the industries, to boost tourism and travel across the borders and nearby the areas of the border, to enhance the people-to-people contact, then to have more interdependency with our neighbors as per the policy of our Honorable Prime Minister, Look East policy, to have a common market, to have a much more wider range of products across the borders, and to become an efficient bridge of Southeast Asia, as was our golden days of old Silk Route, to bring that prosperity through the land ports. Our mission is to ensure that we become the ambassadors for all practical purposes, sitting on the borders with our neighbors, and to connect people to provide a secure, seamless and efficient systems of cargo and passenger movements.
That's such a comprehensive vision which this organization has, and it's you can say a multifaceted aim that is being pursued. Foremost, what you mentioned was trade, employment, investment. If we come to you, Mr. Hussain, what is the importance of land-based trade in South Asia, and how do you see this vision in future going forward? How do you feel? How will it progress?
Land ports is one of the most important trading instrument in a landlocked environment, particularly when you look at South Asia. South Asia, we have countries like Nepal, Bhutan, which are landlocked. So for them, these borders are their windows to trade with international markets. So when we talk of South Asia traditionally has been one of the least trading region. 5% is what we trade within ourselves. If we compare it to European Union, which trades at much higher percent. So 5% is a very, very low percentage. But then these land borders, which are the gateways of goods movement within South Asia. I'll give you an example for Nepal. Most of the bilateral trade for Nepal is with India, and Nepal's trade with other countries also passes through India as a transit, because they don't have a seaport. So it comes via ICP in Raxaul and then it goes to Kolkata port or any other port for its forward journey. So that is one example how these land ports are important for our neighborhood first policy. So that's where the importance of these land borders is, because it's not only about what benefit it gives to India, it's also about what is the benefit we are giving to these smaller neighbors that we have. So we need to have these bridges with our neighbors for the economic prosperity. Another point on economic aspects. Based on one of our research, ICP Atari, which was for trade between India and Pakistan, there was 25 crores revenue which was getting generated within the community. There are so many allied employment that gets created. So 25 crores a month. And for a small place in border area, this is a big number. So that's the impact that this border trade has on smaller communities in the border economies.
And what would you say are the challenges, the impediments in the way of trade through land routes?
See, as ma'am said, the journey has just started. They have covered 10 years, but then there are certain challenges which we still face. The first challenge that we face is the digital connectivity. The process of export and import in present times is happening digitally. But in our border areas, in our ICPs and LCSs, we still are following those manual systems of trade. So that needs to be streamlined, and I'm sure there are steps that LPAI is taking to streamline that trade and digitize this trade. The second is the infrastructural aspect, the parking yards, the approach roads that are going towards these ICPs. At a lot of places, they are very well planned, but at some ICPs, we still have those parking yards. It still takes some time. And then the other challenges is also that in some of our ICPs, there is not a mirror ICP on the other side. What I mean by mirror ICP is the kind of infrastructure that I have on Indian side, I need to have a replica infrastructure on other side. So all those things need to be built up. That will definitely help us move towards, as our vision says, smart ports.
Ma'am, turning these land ports into smart ports, as Mr. Hussain outlined, there are various facilities which are required at the land ports, and they are available in a big way. So whatever the gaps are there in the infrastructure, he was talking about the mirror infrastructure there. What kind of coordination exercise you feel that the most important, you can say, job of LPI is coordination, as I understand it?
You are absolutely right. In fact, we are also having the mandate on behalf of the Ministry of Commerce. There is one National Trade Facilitation Plan, and that also gives us directions to make it more smooth, seamless, and a feel good for the passengers who cross our borders. Other than the directions that we receive from BIMSTEC and the efforts which are going on to have a BBIN wherein the motor cars can seamlessly cross the borders starting from the Myanmar border and even go crossing India further to Afghanistan and Nepal or Bhutan. So the impending land ports, right now we are having about 9 operational land ports. We have 2 at the Pakistan border, namely Atari and Dera Baba Nanak. And we have 2 presently operational on the Nepal border, Raxaul and Jogbani. We have 4 operational on the Bangladesh border, Pedrapol, Agartala, Srimantpur and Sutarkandi. But in addition to this, we are right now making efforts to make another 14 operational, so that the ones which are approved by the CCS, all 23 of them become functional. In addition to this, we are also trying to ensure that wherever there are land customs stations, find out which are the ones which are having huge volume, but the infrastructure is not so good. And there is absolutely no facility for the passengers to cross the border because immigration and the pandemic has also played a huge role in affecting the passenger movement as well as the trade movement. So to ensure that, we have coming up with a project wherein 66 such land custom stations will be slowly converted into ICPs in phase A, B and C, so that this whole exercise becomes quite seamless. As Mr. Hussain has rightly pointed out, digitization of the process is one of our main aim. Second, we are also looking at mechanization of our ports. We are also looking at giving a very feel-good factor to the passengers, building the passenger terminals. One we have already built in Dera Baba Nanak. The other one is under construction in Pedrapol, and similar exercises are going on in other ports also. Third, we are trying to ensure that with the Customs, Bureau of Immigration, with the plant quarantine, animal quarantine, Agriculture Ministry, Health Ministry and all other stakeholders, including the state governments, we are trying to weave the circle in such a way that everybody gets benefited. State governments are having a major support to LPAI through Union Home Ministry, and I am very happy to share also that whatever development the Government of India is looking at for the northeastern region, we are also one of the fulcrum around which this thing will happen. So we will be able to bring the northeastern part much more closer to the mainland as and when most of these will become functional.
And do you feel that expansion of the network of integrated checkpoints will also help to formalize trade faster and curb smuggling and illegal infiltration from borders?
Definitely, because this infiltration, smuggling has been informal trade within South Asia, always been talked about. And these ICPs come with the proper infrastructure, security mechanisms, which definitely does reduce. And it has been noted by different studies, particularly between India and Bangladesh, where there used to be a lot of informal trade prevalent a few years back. And post ICPs coming at different points between India and Bangladesh, it has definitely reduced that informal trade, infiltration, smuggling, because it moves people towards formalized trade. And the another factor that has been noted after these ICPs were created by Land Ports Authority of India, there has been a significant increase in the trade that has happened through these border points. Earlier when they were LCS, and when you compare that trade with it is converted to ICP, there is a decent increase in the percentages of trade that happens through that checkpoints. So it definitely helps in curbing informal trade, smuggling and other security related risks.
And also the ICPs, that is the integrated checkposts, they play a crucial role also in economic corridors through India's neighboring countries to beyond, say to Afghanistan, through Pakistan. This could be for humanitarian purpose also, like trucks of wheat which have entered Pakistan and are headed for hunger-stricken Afghanistan. So how do you see this aspect of LPAI?
I think connecting people to people is also one of the important duty that LPAI is doing. As you are aware, the Atari LCS, Land Customs Station, started its trade in 1955. So it has a huge legacy of trade, and Atari border is enabling us to also connect to our neighbors in Afghanistan, because through them this 50,000 metric ton wheat is being sent to the nation, and we are very happy that we are also playing our role in this good humanitarian task. I would also like to mention that during the pandemic, huge number of the vaccine vials were sent through the land borders, through rail and through road to our neighboring countries like Bangladesh and some to other nations also. So when it comes to helping our neighbors, these ICPs are our major thrust through which we can do that. Second point is also the Dera Baba Nanak. Dera Baba Nanak provides an access through the Kartarpur corridor to all the Sikh religion people to go and do their prayers and come back. In every day, about 5,000 persons can visit and come back, and we can see the smile on their faces, and that is what is our real gain. LPAI also has a very huge mandate to provide world-class infrastructure on the borders to boost the local economy, to ensure that they are gender-friendly, the passenger terminals and the staff disabled friendly. They have 24/7 facilities available. They also have multiplier effect to the local economies. And this whole paraphernalia of Land Port Authority of India's different ICPs are actually an effort to spread your hands and to hold the hands of our neighbors in one way.
So borders will no longer be barriers, but bridges connecting people and facilitating trade. Thank you so much for your time and for this insightful discussion.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.